Alright, so with this Milwaukee 18 volt chainsaw, the power is incredible, like we talked about. Now the one thing that I have noticed by using, we use the 5 and the 9, it still cut pretty good. I mean, obviously what I tried to show you is how much more torque, how much more power you get out of this saw with the high output batteries. You probably get very close to the same performance with the 6 amp hour battery. But the one thing too, let me tell you, going down to the 5 amp hour battery, the weight difference is really noticeable. That's the one thing, people ask me about the saw compared to the Makita or the DeWalt. This is the heaviest of the bunch, okay, with the 12 amp hour battery. You know what I'm saying? But if you do get this 6 amp hour high output, maybe there's kits coming out where they maybe throw 2 of the high output batteries in with certain kits. Who knows, down the road, or maybe you just buy them. That'll definitely make this saw a lot lighter. A couple people were talking about,
this side? Yeah, this side, right. Ready?
Yep. Okay, this is the tool that's in there to tighten the chain and bar. Goes in there. Just like that. Pull it out, just comes straight out. We just cut down these trees. 1, 2, and 3's down there. But all right, so real quick, I did want to mention a couple things before we wrap this up here. Great saw, again, very powerful. We tested different batteries. We had, like I said, the 12 amp hour, 9 amp hour, 5 amp hour. The thing that really surprised me was, now obviously there was some power difference with the batteries, no doubt. But I was pretty surprised, you know, even with the 5 amp hour battery. Again, you guys got to remember, this is an 18 volt chainsaw. You know what I'm saying? You know, there's obviously the 40 volt DeWalt, 36 volt Makita, there's 56 volt Egos, there's 80 volt, you know, Greenworks and Cobalt, you know, chainsaws out there. But an 18 volt chainsaw. Now, again, you're going to get much better performance with the 12 amp hour high output, the 6 amp hour high output. But I was expecting a bigger power difference going from to the 9 and the 5. But obviously you did notice a little bit. I'm not saying it was, you know, equal, but it really surprised me on how well this saw cut with the 5 and the 9 amp hour battery. So you don't, you know, obviously with this kit you get the 12 amp hour battery with it, but you know, if you got a couple 5s, maybe you got a 9 with your trimmer, your hedge trimmer, your blower or whatever, you're gonna be just fine with those batteries. All right, one other thing real quick. As you can see here, now of the power tool chainsaws, but you can actually use any type of lithium ion chainsaw. This is a fairly long, large, I don't want to say real heavy, you know, it's 14 pounds, I think 13.9. It's not a super light chainsaw. Now obviously it has the 12 amp hour battery. If you go down to the 9 or to the 5, you know, obviously the 6 high output battery would definitely help with the weight a little bit. But you know, it's not something you kind of want to go up on ladders with. Again, you know, some companies, tree services, might want to use some of this lithium ion stuff because it's lightweight to go up and prune, cut some limbs down and everything. But this is probably not the saw if you're looking to do that with it. Again, kind of long, kind of large, and again, on the weight side of it, probably the heaviest saw out there, but it is the most powerful by far. Again, just I can't say how impressed I am with it, you know. And when I talk about it, I always have to go back and say this is an 18 volt chainsaw, you know. I'm comparing it to the Makita and the DeWalt, you know, a 36 volt. The DeWalt is a 60 volt. It's a flex volt, obviously. It's a 16-inch 60 volt or 54 volt, but chainsaw. And just shocking that an 18 volt chainsaw can do better than a 60 volt. And obviously it's not all about, you know, volts, you know, volts and everything, but it's just a great saw, guys. I don't want to talk too long here, but Milwaukee, we'll have a review on it, but very impressed with it. We'll go over the features and all that stuff in an upcoming video shortly. Peace.